This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. The Essen Spiel show is coming up next week, and so I wanted to give you my top anticipated games. Now I've already done two other videos about the fair coming up. I've done one which was the best games that I've already played that are going to be at Essen. That's, in my opinion, the most solid list because I've already played them, I've reviewed many of them, and they're amazing, and I want you to check them out. The other one is the top expansions coming out at the Essen Fair, because as I started to make this list, I found that there were many expansions that I wanted to put on that list, so I gave it its own list. So check those two videos out that have come out before this, but without further ado, let's see what my most anticipated games are.
Number 10.
The first one is Kitchen Rush. This is from Artipia Games. I don't know too much other than A, the art looks awesome, B, the theme is really cool, and it's a cooperative game, and I love cooperative games, and it has sand timers for workers, and it's something where, you know, that there was a game that came out a few years ago from Stronghold. It was Time and Space, and it was one of these ones where you put your workers down and you have to wait till the sand timer goes, and you're thinking, and then you forget about this one, and then do this one, and I really loved the way that felt, and I love cooperative games, so I thought you take a mechanism that I really liked, put it cooperative, put it around a food theme that I really like, give you that real-time aspect. It seems to check all the boxes for me, and I know Artipia Games has done some great games in the past, so that's why this one's on my list, Kitchen Rush.
Number 9.
The next one is Indian Summer. This is a tile-laying game designed by Uwe Rosenberg, and in North America, Stronghold Games going to be bringing this over. Now, this is part of sort of a trilogy or series of Tetris-style tile-laying games from Uwe Rosenberg. It started with Patchwork, which was a 2-player game, then went on to Cottage Garden, and there's not a whole lot of information about this game, other than what I've heard is it's heavier than Cottage Garden. So this will be interesting to see, because also this year, you know, Barren Park came out from another publisher and a different designer that was a Tetris-style tile-laying game, which I think is the best out of all the ones that have come out so far. It's one of the best games I think I've played all year, so it'll be interesting to see, does the heaviness of this game put it in a completely different category from the other two, or what? So that's why I'm interested in this, because I do love puzzly-style games, I do love these Tetris games, and seeing if it can, you know, take Barren Park's spot as I think the best Tetris-style puzzle-laying game out there.
Number 8.
Now the next one is one that there's not a whole lot of information about, but it's called Liberatores, the Conspiracy to Liberate Rome. And this is a game that I like because I like historical games, but I also like games that have negotiation, a little bit of deduction, and things like that. There are some hidden roles, there definitely is some deduction, and there is negotiation. So it checks those boxes of things that I really like. There's going to be agents who want to save Caesar. There's Republicans that want to restore democracy to the Roman Republic. And there's competitors who want to kill Caesar so that they can take over Rome as the next dictator. So it sounds like 3 different teams, if you will, that will be there, and negotiation and deduction. So it seemed like a cool little idea, and I liked the theme itself, and so that's why it's on this list. Liberatores, the Conspiracy to Liberate Rome.
Number 7.
The next one is a card version of a popular game that I love, which was Kariba. So this is Kariba, the card game. From what I heard, it's not going to be coming out to North America until early next year, sometime for Q1, maybe even Q2. But I loved Kariba. I still love it. I think it's an excellent game. So doing a different version of this, whether it's a dice game or a card game, I'm going to be interested to at least try it for sure. In this one, it says, you know, you're selecting 2 different path cards from your hand, and you're trying to outwit the other players. Basically, whoever has the lowest sum of those will end up losing a card, and then all the players use those cards to create their own network of pathways to connect your adventure to the temple. So it sounds like it has a little bit of a guessing game there, trying to figure out what people are going to play, trying to play ones that if you have the littlest, you're out. Maybe those are the most powerful ones. So it looks like there's going to be a good balance there. So that's all I know. It does sound interesting, and since it uses the system of a game I already love, Kariba, I'm interested in this one.
Number 6.
The next one is a trick-taking game. I love trick-taking games, and this one has been out for a while actually. Since 1995 was its original time out from what I've read, and it's called Bottle Imp. This is coming from Stronghold Games. And you know, trick-taking games, there's tons of them coming out these days, which I love. And what I love about trick-taking games that are coming out now is ones that stay pretty true to trick-taking, but then have a little twist that just makes it different and interesting. Now this one, there's a bottle, and there's a number for that bottle, and then the players that play cards that have a number less than that bottle is trump. But someone could trump that by playing a one even less. Now the price of that bottle decreases as players are playing numbers underneath it to try to win trump or to beat trump or to beat other trumps. So it's going to get harder to play trumps as the round goes on. But the player that gets stuck with the bottle ends up getting negative points for all the cards played. So you're trying to get there, you know it's going to be harder to get it, and people aren't going to want to win it to the end because it's going to be negative. So it sounds like it has that little interesting cliff where you want to get to there at the right time, you want to use it as much as you can, but you don't want to get stuck with the bottle in the end. I've heard this is a great game from others, and it just looks awesome, and that is Bottle Imp, the trick-taking game.
Number 5.
The next one is another cooperative game that uses sand timers for workers. Earlier I just talked about Kitchen Rush. Here's another one, but it's pirates. It's called A Tale of Pirates. Now this is the same design team that has done games that I love, which is why it's this high on my list. They've done 13 Days, 13 Minutes, Frog Riders. The same design team did this, so I'm super interested in it. So it's cooperative, sand timer for workers. It has a humongous looking awesome 3-dimensional pirate ship. There's 10 different scenarios in the game. You're trying to maneuver to fight enemy ships. You're moving the guns. You're catching rich merchants. You know, you're avoiding obstacles. There's different things that you're trying to do, which sounds pretty cool. And you got to communicate with each other and organize yourselves, but to do it with these timed workers and such sounds like a really interesting thing. Components look awesome. Design team is a dream team for me. No brainer for me to put this up high. That's A Tale of Pirates.
Number 4.
The next one is a game that I had heard about back at Gamma, actually. It was, I didn't report on it at Gamma because I was told it wasn't announced and couldn't really say anything about it then. This is called Coaster Park. This is from Pandasaurus, and it's designed by Scott Alms. He's the one that's done all the Tiny Epic games. And I don't know a lot about the game other than you're literally building your own roller coaster with these big, awesome cardboard parts. And at the end, you're going to be rolling a marble down your roller coaster and it has to get to the end. So there's an aspect of what you're building and an aspect of thinking about physics and trying to figure out, is this going to get to the end? And I don't know anything else, but it doesn't matter because it looks cool. It sounds cool. It just looks very unique. Pandasaurus does great stuff. Scott Alms does great stuff. So my trust is in them that this game's going to be as good as it seems. And I hope so because, man, I love these fresh, different games that are coming out that are adding all sorts of different wacky things. I hope it's not just a gimmick. I don't think it will be. And I hope it's going to be great. And that's Coaster Park.
Number 3.
The next one is sort of a series of games. I'm sort of cheating here because it's 3 games. It's called the Fast Forward series from Stronghold Games. Now these are based upon the Fabled idea that came with Fabled Fruit from Freedom and Freeze last year. Fabled Fruit was one of these. The Fabled system is awesome where you play a game and it's sort of like a legacy game, but it's non-destructive. You can reset it and play it with different players and then jump back to where you were with a different group. You can even replay it and it will still feel different because cards come out at different times and things like that. So I love, love, love that Fabled system. And now you have 3 new games coming out that sort of use that system in what's called Fast Forward. Now, this is different where there's no rules to the game. You literally have tarot-sized cards. You open the box, you have the first card, and you'll start, and the rules will be taught to you as the game plays. Now, Freedom Freeze got this idea from Dead Man's Draw, which is one of my favorite press your luck games, where he's like, I was at the end of the night, I didn't want to think too hard, I wanted to teach people a game as we played, flip it over, tell people what the card does, and he's like, why are more games designed like this? And that's what gave him the idea. So there's 3 games: Flee, Fortress, and Fear. Of course, lots of F's for Freedom and Freeze, and of course everything's green. Flee's a cooperative game where you're escaping, and it's basically a puzzle solving game. Fortress is about taking risks and bluffing friends to be the dominant ruler of the kingdom. And Fear is a fast-paced and straightforward hand management game with attention-filled ghost chasing. So 2 of those games I think are, it says 15 minutes-ish. And then the third one, I can't remember off the top of my head which one of these is, but one of them is a longer game. I think it's at 60 to 90 minutes. It's very different from the other 2. But I'm super excited about these again because I love the Fabled system. So I want to check this out. If it's anything like that, I'm going to love this. And that's the Fast Forward series, Flee, Fortress, and Fear from Stronghold Games.
Number 2.
Next are 3 new scenarios for Exit the Game. This one won the Kenner Spiel from Cosmos. This is probably my favorite system that I've played. I've played pretty much almost all of them for the escape room games that are coming out by everybody these days. And so I really love the Escape the Game system. And so there's 3 more new ones coming out. I think they're only coming out in German at the fair. I think the English versions will be coming out later, maybe early next year, maybe late this year, I'm not quite sure. But the 3 different ones are Polar Station, which cold, interesting looking artwork there. The Forgotten Island. Again, they're doing a good job on these themes here because the first 3 were cool with the cabin and such, and you know, Pharaoh. I like that they're not just going with the typical zombie Cthulhu stuff that's out there, that they're picking cool themes. Forgotten Island's the second one, and the Forbidden Castle is the third one with a cool knight standing there. And again, I love these series, so I can't wait to get my hands on these and try these ones. Hopefully they'll be as good as the other ones, and maybe they take it in different directions. And those are Exit the Game from Cosmos.
Number 1.
Here comes my number 1. I heard about this game back at Origins, and I was told by this publisher that it gives you the feeling sort of like Alchemists, which was a very heavy, long game, but a much more streamlined manner from a deduction standpoint. And my ears immediately went up because I love deduction. It's one of my favorite genres. This is from Renegade Game Studios. It's called Pie Town: Lies, Spies, and Apple Pies. It's 2 to 4 players. It takes 60 to 90 minutes. It's a dice worker placement game with some hidden information. You're going to be placing dice, and your dice are going to have certain levels or numbers on them, and depending on where you place those dice and depending on what those levels are, you'll be able to do a certain amount of things at that spot. But some of those spots then change your die, either up or down, depending on what's going on. So there's going to be a little bit of puzzle element there, trying to match up your actions to the right things and seeing what that's going to do to your die. There's some secret ingredients, so you'll have 2 common ingredients and 1 rare ingredient that you'll pick at the beginning of the game. They'll go in a little box that's your secret ingredients. Now when you make pies with that secret ingredient, you're going to get up to 7 points. However, when you make pies, you're going to be trying to make more than 1, so that all the ingredients are confounded with each other, because you're trying to find out what everyone else's secret ingredients are. Because if you can make a pie with their secret ingredients, you're going to get a lot of points too. So it has this aspect of deduction. There's a player board with a dry erase marker where you can take notes as to what pies people have been building, what ingredients they've been using, trying to deduce what their secret recipes is. You can also swap out some of your secret recipe if you know for sure someone knows yours. So it just seems like a really interesting thing. I love worker placement. I love deduction. I love hidden information. The artwork's awesome. The food theme is great. Again, I mean, Renegade has been knocking it out of the park, so why not stick with this? Because it's got everything I love in it, and a great theme and everything as well. So that's Pie Town: Lies, Spies, and Apple Pies. Well, there you have it, my top 10 most anticipated games for the Essen Spiel Fair. Again, if you hadn't seen the other videos I've put about Essen, my most anticipated expansions, and the games that I've already played recently that are being released there that I think you should check out, I've done those as well. You can see those links below. So this has been the Game Boy Geek, helping you find and enjoy the next board game you'll love.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.